Hey guys, it's Roscoe on the Space Couch today. Now that Star Wars Episode 8 is in production, I thought we might take a look at what sort of thing we can probably expect from the plot of that movie. So, obviously it ended with Rey meeting Luke on Ahch-To. Kylo was off to complete his training with Snoke, and Finn was in a coma. Obviously we expect Poe is probably close by his side. Now I do expect Rey's story to pick up from exactly where it left off. You know, her handing over the lightsaber, Luke staring at her, and then there's going to be some sort of dialogue. Whether or not that is the very first thing we see in the film, it'll be a very different opening from usual with the crawl and then some sort of spaceship. But hey, these new stories are meant to be different, remember? Everyone's been complaining, Force Awakens, too much like A New Hope, they want different. This would be something different. If it just opens, cold open, Rey and Luke. We shall see. Although, you know what, I don't know if she's actually going to need that much training when you think about it, how quickly she came into her force powers. Maybe there won't even be any training there, and she'll come back with him on the Falcon to Dakar, or wherever the Resistance has ended up, if they've maybe had to move base in the meantime. Now, I do think, though, I fully expect we are going to see some iteration of both Rey and Kylo doing their, I won't say Jedi training as such, but their Force training, I expect. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Snoke is essentially evil Yoda on Kylo's shoulders, you know, because as we saw with Star Trek, and as we saw when JJ did The Force Awakens, all those familiar plot lines, they're all swapped around, happens in different order and to different people. It would be very much in that keeping if it was evil Snoke riding on Kylo. In the same way that Empire Strikes Back had Hoth with the Rebel base, Force Awakens, it was Starkiller base, and it was a First Order base that got taken out. Similar scenario, other way around, makes it completely different. Now, Rey, of course, being so strong in the Force and not needing much training, I do expect she's going to be tempted by the dark side, much more so than when she was fighting Kylo. And it wasn't clear in the film, although it was in the book, that she had been tempted to kill him by the dark side. That dark side is just going to be watching and waiting to grab her at any opportunity, you know, you can just feel it. Now, as for Finn, he's not going to be in this coma for long. He can't be, you know. I mean, he absolutely drove the whole of the story in The Force Awakens, as well as, personally for me, was the most interesting character, not to take anything away from any of the others, of course. Now, once he's recovered, and obviously, what will he be when he comes out of that coma? Him and Poe are going to be having some awesome adventures, I hope. In the production announcement, it said, Rey's epic destiny will continue with Finn, Poe and Luke Skywalker. That's exactly what we want. And obviously bear in mind, Poe knows Luke Skywalker, you know. His mother, Shara Bey, flew with Luke Skywalker, flew with his sister Princess Leia, General Leia, flew with the Queen of Naboo at the time. So he's got connections. I'd really like to see him and Luke together. Does he maybe harbour any resentment over his mother's death? I don't know. Does Luke know if Poe is Force sensitive because of that tree? All that sort of thing. Anyway, that's the sort of thing we can expect. Now, Finn, he's got to have his own destiny, you know. They could have easily killed off his character at the end of The Force Awakens. Technically, he had fulfilled his role. He had gotten that lightsaber to Rey. He had completed his character arc, you know. And obviously, just after they'd killed Han Solo, it said, don't kill Finn as well! You know, and luckily they didn't. So, yes, he's going to be having, I don't know, I've said before, is he going to be having Force visions, you know, while he's unconscious? Is like Yoda or someone going to be speaking to him, telling him, reveal your destinies, or whatever, you know? We're going to have to wait and see. But I think the very first Stormtrooper to ever defect from the Empire or the First Order must have a destiny in front of them, you know. Definitely. I mean, Finn's got a good heart, you know. He's willing to sacrifice his life for others. And the Force notices things like this, you know. We shall see. We shall see. Obviously, I really want Finn to be Force sensitive. We'll see if that happens. Now, ignore everything I just said about what could happen in Episode 8. Because if I've thought of it, then you probably have too. Which means that is not what we're going to see. It's going to be something else entirely. It'll be totally awesome. Oh, there's going to be some iteration of it. Finn's going to come out of his coma. Rey and Kylo are going to have some form of training somewhere. There's going to be space battles. There's going to be droids. Can't wait to see what other tricks BB-8 has got up his ball. But yes, that's the sort of thing we can't expect. Oh, Benicio del Toro's character, what's he going to be? Is he a villain? Is he not? Could he be King Prana? Could he be some other kind of evil force user? Could he just be some completely new person who hasn't even been referenced at all? Could he be Admiral Thrawn? Who knows? Wouldn't that be awesome, Admiral Thrawn? Might be coming to Rebels, so I doubt we'll see him in the movies, but you never know. Anyway, guys, that's just my thoughts on Episode 8. Before Episode 7 came out, as you know, there were 7 billion versions of that film, one for every person on this planet. Then it came out, there's now one version of that film. Episode 8 is now the one that's got 7 billion different versions of it. So, exactly, more Star Wars films are on the way, you know, with unanswered Star Wars questions. This is why it's a good idea that they scrapped the old canon, because everything had been explained ad infinitum, you know. There was very little room for anything new. It had all been filled up. Now, it's a blank canvas again, and isn't that fantastic? We'll find out in December next year, the next part of that canvas to be filled in. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this content. Leave me a comment or a suggestion for what you think might be in Episode 8 or any ideas that you'd like to see in there. I had a look at the Art of the Force Awakens book and some fantastic stuff in there. Some of the ancient lightsabers that they had concepts for were incredible, and I really hope that they make an appearance in later episodes, because it's almost like the crystal growing out of a stick. It just looked fantastic. Well, other than that, you can always like the video also.